I call this meeting to order at 7:31 p.m. We will now move into section 2, swearing in. There is none. We will now move into section 3, roll call. As a reminder to check in for roll call, please press the yes button on your clicker. If you do not click the yes button, you will be counted. It will not count you. Okay, so with 27 present, what is the simple majority?
With 27 present, simple majority is 13.5, two-thirds majority is 18.
Thank you. We'll now move into section 4, messages from the suit by president. There is none. We'll now move into section 5, messages from the Finance Commission, and I will read the message from the Finance Commission today. The message says, the Commission has reviewed a series of individual and organizational funding requests submitted by students and student organizations. Allocations were determined in accordance with SJA funding policies and eligibility requirements. This past week, the Commission reviewed 2 organizational funding requests. After careful consideration, the Commission approved $1,200 for the mission and $1,100 for Wichita State ASCA. The Commission also reviewed individual funding requests. A total of $1,250.14 was approved for a student attending the CES conference. No funding was allocated for the APCA conference. No additional individual or organizational funding requests were reviewed this week. The Commission remains committed to supporting student development through conference participation, organizational initiatives, and professional growth opportunities, and will continue providing weekly updates on budget expenditures for both the individual and organizational funding accounts. And that is the end of the messages. With that, we will now move into section 6, messages from the agencies. So for this week, we received a report from the Asian Student Conference. So President Tran wished to announce these following items at the Senate meeting. Their Friendsgiving event on November 21st from 5 to 8 p.m. at the University United Methodist Church. Students are not required, but encouraged to bring a dish to share, and they can sign up on their Instagram link. Additionally, application for the social coordinator chair position within cabinet is due on December 1st. Their last general meeting will be on December 3rd at 3:30 p.m., where the theme of the meeting is fashion designers. ASC has had its last 2 ASC Answer, Study, and Chill sessions on December 2nd and 4th. The location and time are to be determined. More details will be available after the cabinet meeting this weekend. The MASU application form is now open for students to apply. MASU will be held from March 20th to 22nd at Western Michigan University in Michigan. The deadline for the form is November 28th. Just so you know, no late submissions will be accepted. That concludes the report from the Asian Student Conference. As I sent the notification email out a little bit late, some of the chairpersons will be reporting on some of the other agencies for today. Moving forward for the other agency reports, we will receive them ahead of time, and Clerk Thompson will read those messages. With that, we'll now move into section 7, 3-minute floor speeches. In lieu of senators using public forum as a mechanism to address the Senate, any senator may seek recognition to give a speech on a subject of their choice, not exceeding 3 minutes in duration. 3-minute speeches are focused on specific topics. Senators may only hold the floor once during this period. Are there any senators that wish to speak at this time? Seeing none, we'll now move into section 8, public forum. Public forum provides a chance for individuals to have the privilege of speaking before the Senate, limited to 3 minutes only. This is a time for the Senate to listen to what the community has to say, and to that we offer our undivided respect and attention. I would like to remind everyone that, although we allow the speakers the privilege to use this platform, the opinions of the speakers do not reflect the opinions of the association. The first person we have up for public forum, with the exception granted for the 3-minute limit, is Director Heather Stafford.
My name is Heather Stafford. I am the Director of Student Health Services located in the Student Wellness Center, YMCA, on campus. And I'm here, historically, I've always tried to come over and talk to SGA. We've always had a very good partnership with our SGA senators, and we've always had a good understanding. You guys support us with the student fees. You help us be accountable, and we also enjoy, our partnerships and different events and things like that. Today, I'm just going to kind of give you a brief overview of some services that Student Health provide that you may not know about. And I'm going to kind of just base it off of our website because I think you could find some really good information here if you've never looked. I'm going to start off by showing you just the different topics that are here, but what I'm going to go to first is our About Us page. And the reason being is if you ever have any questions about what Student Health is doing with your student fees, I encourage you to look at our annual reports. Our annual reports have really good information about how many students that we serve, what kind of things that we are doing for students. There's items on here you're probably not even aware of. The amount of appointments that we see for students for injury, illness, preventative care, for physical exams, immunizations, tuberculosis screening and testing. Some of the other things that we do are we have a laboratory where we draw blood and do a lot of specimen collections. We do radiology services. We have x-ray. We have ultrasound. We have physical therapy, a dietitian that is with us twice a week. We also have a chiropractor and faculty from the athletic training offices that come over and see our students and, either take care of overuse injuries or any sort of injuries that may occur, in intramurals, rowing, whatever it may be. Some of the things that I did want to point out for you here is a lot of statistics and information that you might want to look at. Some of our specialty and allied health appointments, like the physical therapy and nutrition, but also our mental health work that we do at Student Health. Not only are we in the same building as counseling and psychological services, so we have those warm handoffs, we collaborate, make sure we're taking care of all of our student needs, but we also are the medication providers. Your students do not have to come see CAPS in order to get medications from Student Health. They can just come see us. It could be for anything. It could be for PTSD, OCD, schizophrenia, bipolar. We have a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner that we hired 20 hours a week, which is a big difference from what we used to. And she not only prescribes those medications, but she also does ADHD medications. The ADHD medications do not require a formal testing result. She evaluates students, has some screenings that she does with them in that appointment, and they walk out with a prescription that day. So you're talking about an office visit of $35 to $45. Students won't have to pay more than $25 for that office visit and get their prescription. So it's a good service. But the other ones that we want to point out is things that you might not see on our website anymore for obvious reasons. Our LGBTQ services, we still do them. We still have them available for our students. We do PrEP and PEP for HIV prevention. We do DoxyPEP for STI prevention. And we do gender-affirming hormones for students who are ages 19 years and older. And we've been doing these for 5 years. So we just want to make sure that everybody understands those are still available. And if you have students interested in those services, they're not going to see it on the website, but now you all know, so you can tell your constituents and make sure that they understand that those are available. Our students also have opportunities to engage with us in different ways through financial assistance. And that's just not what other services that they might incur with us at Student Health. If they have a medical emergency that they have out in the community at a hospital, emergency room, wherever it may be, and they're really struggling with these medical bills, we make them appointment with our Assistant Director, Kimberly Vermillion, and with our Bachelor's of Social Work student. And they'll sit down with them and make sure that they're assisting them lowering those medical bills as much as possible using whatever means that we normally do. A lot of hospitals do write-offs, different things like that the students don't know about. So meeting with our assistant director will help those students. Last year we saved students $31,000 in medical bills by lowering those medical bills first and then connecting them to either SGA resources, international education resources, of other little pockets of funds that are available for students with some sort of medical emergency need. So if you ever want to go and filter through these annual reports, it might be boring to you, but if you're interested in making sure we're providing as many services for as many students as possible with these fees, I think you'll find we're very student service oriented. We want to make sure that students are able to get connected to whatever they need. A lot of things also that we've done, we've reduced patient responsibility for any of their medical bills by 20% in the last 5 years, which means we're using as much insurance reimbursement as possible. And typically what that means is we want to make sure our costs are super low for those students who are cash paying students who don't have insurance or have very high deductible or low covering insurance, but then also using your benefits with insurance that you have that you already pay for, and we want to make sure you're using those as well. So all of that is on this annual report. The other thing that I wanted to show you is our health needs assessment survey. We did this in spring 2025. We had over 2,500 responses from students to this health needs assessment survey. A couple of things that I wanted to point out to you that comes from that survey are the top 3 things that students are looking for health needs on campus. And those 3 things were vision care, dental care, which obviously they don't know about the dental care on campus, and then general education on health services, health education on international insurance and domestic student insurance, and different things like that. So this is all on our website. You can find this at any time. We are good stewards of your money, I feel like. I want to highlight that not only do we see students, but we also do see staff, faculty, but those services are covered by what they pay for their services. Doesn't come out of student fees to cover those. So we're here for you and for your students, and I wanted to make sure that I gave as much time as possible for questions. So lay it on me.
Are there any questions? We'll go to Senator Lewis.
So you said you do gender-affirming hormone therapy for students 19 and up. Why
Yes.
is it not 18 and up? Because aren't students legally emancipated adults at 18?
Yes, but General Counsel has advised us we need to follow the highest restrictions, and that is a federal requirement that they have to be 19 age or older, and that's what we have to maintain until some of those cases get appealed in the courts of law. But for now, that's what General Counsel has advised us.
Are there any further questions? We'll go to Senator Mallory.
Yeah, in academic affairs, we're working on looking at adding My WSU to, or the My Shocker Health Portal to My WSU. Do you see if there's a need to add any other like surveys, forms, or even just a whole section of like Shocker Health and moving the tuberculosis screening under that, adding the Shocker Health Portal, and adding possibly this report survey there too?
Yes, I would love that. And if you can get that done for us, that would be amazing. We do have the My Shocker Health Portal. It's different from the WSU portal that you log in for your student accounts. It is our EMR portal that is HIPAA compliant, so it's maintaining confidentiality and privacy. And this is a really robust site where students can communicate with us through secure messaging. Last year, we answered over 37,000 secure messages from students because it's convenient. They might be at work all day. They can still send us a message, answer it when they have time. They might be study abroad in another country, have a question about their medication that they're taking. So they could still use that portal to communicate with us. We can send lab results through there. They can pay their bill on there if they would like to. So there's a lot of opportunities to engage with student health, and I think that would be great.
Are there any further questions? Senator Boyd?
So I have TRICARE, and I know when I went last semester to the Student Health Services, y'all don't accept TRICARE. Is there a reason why y'all don't accept TRICARE?
We're not allowed to. So any of the federal plans, Medicare and TRICARE, and then state government plans, Medicaid, we are not allowed to accept. There's only one university in the state of Kansas that can accept those plans, and that's the University of Kansas, and that's because they're run by the Kansas Health Systems and not by the university. So until we're told we can, we would love to become a federally qualified health center, which gives us access to discounted medication, discounted services, but at this point, we're not allowed to qualify for those.
Are there any further questions? Senator Miller?
Could you clarify, like, what's the barrier for you to qualify for that status?
University consent?
Are there any further questions?
And just to clarify, we file all insurance plans. A lot of the services that we do provide, sorry, I totally interrupted you. A lot of the services that we do provide, you know, a lot of them could be preventative, and a lot of the Affordable Care Act guidance is making sure that insurances cover those items. So we file all insurances, whether or not we're in network with them or not. And if your insurance is not taken by us, then the most you pay out of pocket for that office visit is $25. So still cheaper than most facilities that you're going to see in the city.
Are there any further questions? We'll go to Senator Mallory.
Is there anything you need or want from us to help students learn more or reach out and whatnot?
So I have had a few discussions with different senators in the last few months. I've talked to a few of you through our applied learning students. Guillermo's one of them. He's been with us for 3 years. We have 10 students that work for us and doing various things within student health, but Guillermo knows as much as the rest of us that transportation to different places in the city has been an issue. To go to specialists, to maybe they need to do some type of study like an MRI that we don't have on campus, but we have the X-ray and ultrasounds. And so we would love to set up some type of service, and I know you all are working on that, and so we're excited about that. Vision care, yes, that would be great. There is a couple of facilities in town that we can get vouchers for free exams and free prescription eyeglasses and contacts, but that doesn't always apply to non-residents, so our international students don't always have access to those services. So we would love some way where we can get vision care available to students. And then probably medication assistance. Our students will also meet with our assistant director and the social work student to come up with different medication opportunities, either through manufacturer discount programs, other discounted services, but some of our students don't have a lot of options and might need those specialty medications that are really expensive. And so even though we have a really big amount of sample medication that we carry that students can try for free, it's not sustainable for very long. And if they don't stay with us, they don't have access to that if they're not a student. And so medication assistance would be great too.
Are there any further questions? We'll go to Senator Lewis.
So how do students schedule appointments for your LGBTQ services if it's not on the website?
If it's not on the website, they can still call us and schedule, or they can request an appointment through the My Shocker Health portal.
Are there any further questions? Senator Hatch.
I know you mentioned the university was kind of in the way of being a qualified university. Do you have specifics on why that is? Is it something that like all K-4 institutions have to agree to, or
I'm
anything
assuming
like that?
that's probably the case, since none of the major universities take TRICARE, Medicare, or Medicaid. I'm not exactly sure to the specifics. When we reach out, we are just going with what our permissions are. And so that's a discussion for general counsel in the university, probably.
Are there any further questions? Senator Parker.
Yeah, so earlier you mentioned that students don't know that we have dental care on campus. Could you talk more about that?
So the College of Health Professions has 3 patient-serving clinics. One of them is the Evelyn Hendren Speech, Language, and Hearing Clinic. The other 2 are dental. One is the dental hygiene clinic located in Alberg Hall. The other one is a general dentistry clinic located at the Metroplex at 29th and Oliver. In that facility, that's where they have actual dentists doing work on students and just furthering their career and getting more experience. So they're doing things like abscesses, root canals, different things like that. Those are different dental services on campuses, and they work with students and come up with payment plans for, larger procedures and things like that that might be more expensive. But those are available to students, staff, faculty, and the general public as well.
Are there any further questions? Seeing none.
Hey, Matthew. Can I ask a question?
Yes.
It's not a question, actually, it's a comment. Can you talk a little bit about, I know you mentioned some of the work that Kim does as the assistant director. Can you talk a little bit about the process you all go through to help students also try and save money when utilizing your guys' services through insurance and other means? Because I know that's kind of a big deal of the amount of money that we're able to save students. Can you talk a little bit about what that process looks like, how students access that, and kind of the process Kim goes through to kind of help students in that process?
Absolutely. So just like with LGBTQ services, if we have a student in need, if they saw one of our providers, or if they just call and ask us questions about medical services and that they have medical bills, we just make them an appointment with Kim and our social work student, because it's also an applied learning opportunity for them to learn how to navigate those kind of questions. Kim sits down with them and she'll say, okay, show me all of your medical bills. Do you have insurance? Did you show them your insurance card? A lot of it is education to people on how to, when you go to a hospital, what you need to have with you. Show them your insurance card. Do you have prescription benefits? Things like that. But she'll sit down, she'll look at all of the bills, and then she'll explain to them, okay, what we need to do is wait for all of the insurance to go through and see what your final baseline amount is. She might sit there and help them sign up for the marketplace insurance plans. She might help them get involved with a Medicaid plan, or she might, make sure that they get connected to one of the community serving clinics like Health Corps down the street. They can also help students get involved with Medicaid and Project Access and some of those discounted plans. And then she might go ahead and do the prior authorizations for these expensive medications. And she just works with the student. She stays in contact with them through the portal. The student can upload their bills through the portal. I mean, they wouldn't really even have to do an in-person appointment. She's done them by phone before. Or Teams actually as well, as long as the student consents. And then she just kind of works with them, and she'll even call the hospitals and see what we need to do to lower those bills as well. And then I think who it really probably helps the most is international students, because of the language barrier and maybe not understanding the American healthcare system, which we all know is crap anyway. And when you don't know what it's like here in the United States, it's even harder to understand. So part of that is, helping them communicate with these healthcare facilities.
Are there any further questions? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other individuals who wish to speak in public forum? Seeing none, we'll now move into section 9, introductions and reports, and we'll go to 9.1, report from the executive branch.
Hello again. To start my report with Student Body President Wayne and Vice President Wen, they're currently searching for and interviewing potential associate justices, working on Higher Ed Day with Director Ahrens. They met with the budget office, with Treasurer Bum to receive updates about student fees. They also met with President Muma, Provost Lounsbury, and Chief of Staff Gearhart to hear updates on the university. And they attended the Kansas Board of Regents meeting today, as well as the Student Advisory Council. Student Body Treasurer Bum will have the last Finance Commission meeting this week and is preparing for student fees with the Finance Commission. Director Ahrens, like said previously, is planning for Higher Ed Day. Director Jean is working on SJ membership highlights with you guys, and she's also recruiting the Supreme Court justices. Director Alvarez is still working hard on next semester's events. Director Raju is having her wellness week in March, the 2nd through the 6th, and is planning ahead for that. Director Khan had his event planning training on November 17th. Director Safdar is working on his multiple ideas, such as leadership training and his tax filing workshop. Director Murphy is continuing his relations with athletics about what they want us to do for spring 2026. Director Taylor is working on next year's events. Director Guthrie is also continuing his efforts for next semester. And undergraduate Student Advocate Island is continuing their cases and working for their Pride Task Force for next semester.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Chief of Staff Fritz? Seeing none, thank you. We will now go to 9.2, report from the Speaker of the Student Senate. Good evening, everyone. I hope your week is going well. I have a few brief updates for you all tonight. This week, I have been conducting several Senate seat interviews for our open positions. I've conducted 7 interviews in the past 3 days, and I will interview 2 more individuals tomorrow. I anticipate that we will fill most of our remaining graduate and business seats in addition to a couple other seats. Tonight, we have 2 of those appointments up for consideration. I am currently conducting several interviews for senator applications, so if you know anyone that is interested in Senate, please encourage them to apply on Shocker Sync, especially if they are a applied studies student, underserved, or fine arts student as well. Additionally, this week, I will be attending the agency board directors meeting for our monthly meeting on Friday. Additionally, our Senate leadership team is also discussing our strategic plan and initiatives for the spring semester and planning out the rest of the semester in our Senate leadership meeting as well. Next week, we will not have Senate committees, Committee of the Whole, or Senate due to the Thanksgiving break. Senate leadership will not be working Wednesday through Friday as a result of the break. And due to this, all legislation must be submitted to me by this Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. to be considered for the December 3rd meeting. It is due on December 3rd to give Clerk Thompson, Advisor Fonseca, and I to set up the voting system, and so that I have time to prepare the agenda without having to do so over the break as well. For today's Senate agenda, we have 5 pieces of legislation up for Senate review. SB-68-123, appointing Senator Tibbs to serve as pro temp of the Student Services Committee. AR-68-005, an act to add FERPA to the syllabus. SB-68-126, an act to establish the committee pro temp position within the standing committees of the Student Senate. And SB-68-127, appointing Grace Naylor as the underserved senator. SB-68-128, appointing Ella Runquist as the adult learner senator. Additionally, for the consent agenda, we have several meeting minutes up for approval, which you can find within the SJ teams. And at our next meeting, we will see several senator appointments and the special projects and capital fund legislation for campus recreation as well. I am catching up on transferring files and responding to emails. If you have any questions, thoughts, or concerns, feel free to reach out to me at my email, sj.speaker@wichita.edu, or reach out to me via GroupMe as well. Thank you, and I'll stand for any questions you all may have. Are there any questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll now move into 9.3, report from the Senate chairpersons, and we will go to the report from Academic Affairs Chairperson Kasir Safar.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to provide several updates from the Academic Affairs Committee. First, the script for the plus and minus grading survey has been completed and sent to Speaker Fund for approval. Once it's finalized, the survey should be going out to students soon. We also created a full list of questions that we plan to ask the registrar office regarding the addition of the A+ grade concerns, so we can better understand the policy and the impact on students. Next, I want to share an important update regarding the Shocker Store and future textbook access. Director of the Shocker Store, Lisa Tilma, will be attending our Academic Affairs Committee meeting on December 3rd to discuss the opinion the RSC is currently considering for physical textbooks. They are also exploring the possibility of outsourcing physical textbook sales to a third-party vendor, which would mean physical textbook may no longer be in stock directly in the store. This is being considered because the cost of carrying physical textbook has become significantly higher, and many courses are now using Access Now digital materials. If the RC moves forward, they will still carry items like lab manuals, but they're currently in the research and feedback gathering stage. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Chairperson Kassir so far? Seeing none, thank you. We'll now hear the report from Diversity, Empowerment, Inclusion Chairperson Peng.
Hi, everyone. For committee updates, we continue our discussion on gender-neutral bathrooms initiatives with Health and Wellness Director Raju, as well as Undergraduate Island in attendance, and as well as adding a new initiative, ADA initiative around Dirksen. For agency updates, as the fall semester wraps up, so as our agencies. Halo, BSU, and ASE are having their Friendsgiving event this Friday at 5 p.m. as Speaker Fawn has said. If you're interested in that, please let me know so I can just send you the link, or it is on their Instagram as well, all three of the agencies. And then Spectrum has its Day of Remembrance tomorrow at 7 p.m. in the Grace Memorial Chapel to remember those in the trans community who has passed away. But that is all for my report.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Chairperson Peng? Seeing none, thank you. We will now go to the report from Government Oversight Chairperson Tawana.
Good evening, everyone. For this week, we worked on looking into redistributing Senate seats, but looking at the student population, we came to the conclusion it's best to leave it as the current population is proportionate to the current seats we have against each Senate category. Other than that, we reviewed pro temp legislation which will be up for second read, and as a committee, we made no amendments to the one we presented last week, so it's the same as from last week. And other than that, we discussed the three initiatives regarding the international mentorship program, the temporary residence, and the halal food option, which already got discussed in committee of the whole. So that's pretty much it from this week.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Chairperson Tawana? Seeing none, thank you. We will now hear the report from Student Services Chairperson Hansen.
Good evening, everyone. Last week, Director Arns gave our committee a brief presentation regarding potential funding for net dividers in the Heskett Center, which was very insightful. Senator Argumedo is continuing discussions regarding HIPAA-compliant transportation with Lyft for students on campus who need to attend specialty medical appointments off campus. Senator Hatch's Student Bill of Rights amendments passed during last session have begun to move forward again. Senator Miller is also currently in collaboration with Senator Marston on legislation aimed at supporting undergraduate research students. The survey sent out to students for this legislation was successful with about 180 responses so far. In committee, we're focusing on brainstorming new initiatives and setting timelines for the upcoming semester. That's all.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Chairperson Hansen? Seeing none, thank you. We will now go into 9.4, report from the central office.
Hello. Really quick, Heather texted me something that she wanted to clarify with you all, so I'm going to read it. She said, in the state of Kansas, Medicaid, the student health still wants students to come to them. They often give them walkout statements and occasionally services that could be covered. They don't turn anyone away for insurance reasons. So just FYI on that. And then the only other thing to mention, As a reminder, what Speaker Fawn mentioned, the student government's office will close next week on Tuesday because of the Thanksgiving break, and then we'll reopen that following Monday. And then we only have the one final Senate meeting on December 3rd. And then after that, the SJ office will close and leadership will go on break until we return in the spring. I have sent you the calendar invite for the spring retreat. We are going to take our first Senate meeting, which would normally be scheduled for the 21st, and instead of trying to coordinate at a different time, we're just going to do it over that time. So please make sure that you have that on your calendar. Well, you already do because I already put it there. But please make sure that you know that we will still meet. We just won't have Senate that day, and we'll officially start the new Senate session on the 28th that following week from there. And then, as mentioned, we are beginning the process of student fees and gathering information from that process. As a reminder, last week you all adopted the resolution to bring all the entities forward. They have been notified of that. And then the application for fees that goes out to campus will open right when we return from Thanksgiving break. And then just a reminder, if you have not registered for spring semester, please do that and get that out of the way and get done, and good luck on finals whenever that time comes up. That's it. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Are there any questions for Advisor Fonseca? Seeing none, thank you. We'll now move into section 10, the consent agenda. So on our consent agenda for tonight, we have act on request to approve SB-68-123, appointing Senator Timms to serve as pro temp of the Student Services Committee, in addition to approval of the October 15th and October 29th Senate meeting minutes. Are there any objections to the consent agenda? Seeing none, is adopted as such. We will now move into section 11, pending business. The clerk may read.
Act on request to approve SB-68-126, an act to establish the committee pro temp position within the standing committees of the Student Senate.
Is the author here ready to speak? You have the floor.
Good evening, everyone. As I already mentioned in my report, it's the same legislation from last week. We didn't go through over any amendments during the committee. So the bill basically adds the description of what a pro tem is supposed to do, what are the roles and responsibilities, and how the appointment will take place. The pro tem position will not be compensated. And other than that, if in case the chairperson has the authority to remove the pro temp with the approval of the speaker, and in case that person wants to appeal it, they can appeal it to the Supreme Court. If anyone has any questions or concerns, I'm here to answer.
Are there any questions for Chairperson Tawana? Seeing none, thank you. For this item, we will now move into the debate period. Are there any individuals who wish to speak in debate at this time? Senator Mallon.
This is actually a point of clarification. Or are we allowed to do a motion by unanimous consent, or do we have to vote because of the system? Because I know we talked about that last week.
We are allowed to motion by unanimous consent. Are there any individuals who wish to speak in debate at this time? Senator Archimeno.
Motion to approve with unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Seeing no objections, is adopted as such. We will now move into section 12, new business. The clerk may read.
Act on request to approve AR-68-005, an act to add FERPA to the syllabus.
Is the author here ready to speak? You have the floor.
Yes, so this was with our whole committee. It was brought up by, I believe, Senator Beam, by our chairperson. What? Senator Beatty, sorry. But it was our whole committee. I'm just on there. I don't know why. But the reason for adding this to our syllabus is that students are aware of their FERPA rights, while most students probably are. It's just a statement out there fully explaining it. A lot of times professors may use classwork as examples. And I know students who have had their professor just use it, while in all technicality, they're not allowed to do that. I also know professors that will upload grades, and they'll just have the WCYD, and then they'll have just either what they got wrong on the side. Technically, you also can't do that because you can then associate what that person's WCYD is with their name. Then you can figure out what that student got on a grade. And so this is just adding the FERPA rights into the syllabus to ensure that all students are aware of their rights on campus. Any questions?
Are there any questions for Senator Mallard? Seeing none, thank you. This legislation will go to the Senate for a second read at the December 3rd meeting. We will now move into section 12.2. The clerk may read.
Act on request to approve SB-68-127, appointing Grace Naylor as the underserved senator.
And for this legislation, I will still chair the meeting as this is within my authority as the speaker, since I am, the appointments is directly, in my responsibilities as the speaker, I can appoint senators, so I do not need to hand over the chair to anyone for the duration of these pieces of legislation. Okay, so the first appointment bill that I have up for you, you all today is SB-68-127, appointing Grace Naylor as the underserved senator. So Grace is a freshman majoring in political science. She's also involved in student ambassador as a student ambassador for SAS, Alpha Phi sorority, and also involved in the Cohen Honors College as well. At her high school, Grace was the president of her student council, involved in several other groups as well. I got to get to know Grace through the Finance Commission, where she currently serves as a freshman commissioner. So I got to know her throughout those Finance Commission meetings. In addition, we have a mutual acquaintance in President Emeritus Kylie Hauer, so we know each other through that method as well. I'm confident that Grace has demonstrated the strong organizational and time management skills, not only within her interview, but within her experiences within the Finance Commission and throughout Wichita State as a whole. But I will hand it off to Grace to speak a little bit about herself.
Hi, my name is Grace Naylor. Thank you, Matthew. I'm a political science major here. I also minor in university honors in Spanish. There, I have learned to focus on the concerns of others and hear from people directly from them. And that's really one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to pursue this role. I've been inspired by the work our student government does. It does operate just like the U.S. government. And I like to see the impact that it has on the student body as a whole as well. I'm grateful that the opportunity that I've had to pursue leadership roles on campus has provided me with a solid foundation to come into the senator's seat. As he mentioned, I'm an Alpha Phi sorority. I'm also in the Honors College. I'm an ambassador for the Student Ambassador Society, and I'm the freshman finance commissioner as well. A little bit about my past. My senior year, I was president of student council, president of FBLA, secretary of NHS, and I co-founded a nonprofit organization called Herd Hygiene within my school. I've always been a little bit of a busy gal, but one thing I'm great at is time management. If I say I'm going to show up, I will show up. As I step into this position, I want to focus on several goals, one of which being some parking initiatives on campus, kind of reducing that daily stress commuters have when they come to campus, as well as some dining hall services. The dining hall has some weird situations for students who stay here over the weekend, and I'd like to kind of explore some solutions for that. Above all, I'm here basically because I care deeply about students. You know, I'm one of them, and I want to hear from people's concerns, whether they be good or bad. I, in Student Ambassador Society, am here to represent Wichita in a positive light, but I kind of want to hear the opposite side of that as well. So thank you all, and I'm happy to explore this role.
Are there any questions for the nominee, Senator Lee?
So, did you by chance do the QR code survey for parking?
I'm gonna step in real quick. So, can you ask the nominee some questions related to the appointment, please? Are there any further questions? Centrally.
Another question would be, how are you going to try and reach out to the underserved to the best of your ability?
So one thing I take pride in is listening. I think good leaders aren't just going to be the first to step into a role and talk. So I'm going to explore some options into reaching out with them, but mostly putting myself in that community. So I did mention that I'm a Spanish minor, so that kind of correlates with our international students as well. But I really want to put myself in the shoes of them. I may not be able to directly relate with the underserved community, but I found that being able to listen and hear their concerns goes a lot farther than relating to them directly.
Are there any more questions for the nominee? Chairperson Payne.
Hi. So other than parking, which is a huge issue on campus, let's all be honest, what other initiatives would you like to work on within student government?
So I briefly mentioned the dining hall, and that's another one that I've kind of seen on some of your posts recently about. But overall, I'm a freshman, so I'm required to have the meal plan. I'm also required to live on campus, and I do not go home. I live 3 hours away. So the options are not very diverse for some students. But not only that, I was actually, someone expressed an issue to me recently that some of the dining hall services aren't directly putting the ingredients or being truthful or maybe not understanding the communication of what is in the food. And a student who could not eat pork was told that something was beef, and they did consume that pork, and that was kind of brought up to me through the chain. So I kind of want to work around those issues and figure out how we can be more clear with the ingredients, because that's something the students, have to follow, and that's something that they're very strict about. So I kind of want to look through that.
Are there any further questions for the nominee? Senator Lewis.
I don't mean to pry, but did on the other question, did you say that you aren't a member of underserved communities, or that you aren't an underserved student, or just that you aren't part of any underserved communities yet?
Can you clarify your question? Can you clarify what question you're referring to, for the record?
The one before the one that was before the last question.
Can you give a brief summary of that previous question for my recollection?
I cannot summarize the whole, but I do remember you said that you aren't part of any underserved communities right now. Is that just because you haven't joined any communities yet, or that you aren't an underserved student?
Personally, I have been looking into joining more underserved communities. I will be directly honest with you guys. The town I come from has a population of 800 people. So before I stepped into Wichita State, I was not exposed to diverse communities, but I have opened my arms to all of it. I want to learn about every single part of the underserved communities. I am very accepting to diverse communities as well. Actually, my future career that I want to explore is immigration law. So any part or any recommendations I'd be willing to take to join those communities.
Are there any further questions? Seeing none, thank you. Okay, since this is an appointment bill, we will now go into the debate period for this item. For Senate appointment bills, for the senator positions, they require a 2/3 majority vote. So with that, we will enter the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak? Senator Mallard.
Speaker Fogg, can I jump in really fast before?
Yes.
I would just like to remind the Senate that I need us to be cautious with the term of underserved, because our definition of underserved expanded last session. So there are broader definitions to how the institution has defined it and how we in student government have defined it. So do keep that in mind, that underserved is expanded beyond originally intended, but then how it's expanded is beyond color, race, ethnicity, things like that. The definition itself is much more broader than it has been since the decision that was made last session with the expansion to that language. So FYI, as you all continue your discussion.
And to add on to that, before we appoint all of our Senate candidates, Advisor Fonseca, the central office also checks their eligibility for the role if they fit the criteria. So when you see all these appointment bills going through, all these candidates have met the criteria as set by our Constitution and bylaws. Are there any individuals who wish to speak in the debate at this time? Senator Mallard.
Thank you. I just want to speak on their actions, and I'm a fellow SAS member, and I just want to say that Grace has done a lot of really great work in SAS, and there are a lot of new people here and might not know what SAS is, the Student Ambassador Society. We are the front runners, the forerunners that students see when they come to WSU. We, on Saturday, are actually hosting the DSI, the Distinguished Scholarship Invitational, that runs from, I believe it's 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. There are some, well, I personally am there the entire time, so for the full 12 hours, and there are a lot of SAS members that do this, and we put ourselves out there, not just for current students, but prospective students. I know last year we saw, I believe it was over 1,500 prospective students. And so the work that she's putting forward towards all her other organizations shows that she will do exemplary work here in student government, and I implore you to vote yes.
Are there any other individuals who wish to speak at this time? Okay, seeing none, we'll now enter the voting period. The voting period is now open. Okay, so with 24 yes, 0 no, and 4 abstentions, this legislation passes. We will now move into 12. Should read 3. The clerk will read.
Act on request to approve SB-68-128, appointing Ella Rundquist as the Adult Learner Senator.
Hello, everyone, again. So this is our second Senate appointment bill for tonight. So this legislation will appoint Ella Rundquist as the Adult Learner Senator. I had the pleasure of meeting Ella through our Finance Commission last week, but also throughout our interview process as well. Ella is a junior majoring in integrated marketing communication, in addition to being a transfer student who completed her associate's degree online. I chose to nominate Ella as she understands firsthand the challenges that non-traditional students face on campus as an adult learner and a commuter student as well. In addition, she currently works as an office assistant for the Housing and Residence Life, and she has demonstrated strong communication skills within her interview and her student engagement at Wichita State. So I will hand it off to Ella to speak a little bit more about herself.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Ella Rundquist, and I'm currently a junior majoring in integrated marketing communication. While I might not fit the formal definition of an adult learner, I proudly stand here today to represent them. My own path to Wichita State was non-traditional. I transferred after completing my associate's degree online and am slightly older than the average student on campus. Because of this path I chose for myself, transitioning and transferring from a remote learning environment while also navigating campus as an older student, I've gained firsthand experiences and insights into the unique challenges faced by students who are balancing significant external responsibilities, whether it's work, family, or just a later start. I understand the feeling of being an adjacent student, committed to the process, but often feeling disconnected from the community on campus. Currently, I serve as the Adult Learner Finance Commissioner and work as an office assistant for Housing and Residence Life. These roles have given me valuable experiences in both student advocacy and campus operations, reinforcing my commitment to create meaningful change for students like me. I applied to be a senator because I believe our student government must actively work to integrate these non-traditional students who enrich our community but often struggle to find their place. My goal with this position will center on creating a truly supportive atmosphere for this crucial demographic. I'm ready to use my relatable, non-traditional journey to be a senator who doesn't just speak for adult learners, but one who advocates with an understanding of their daily routine and struggles that may come along with it. I look forward to the opportunity to serve them and this university. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the nominee? Seeing no questions, thank you. We will now go into the debate period for this item. Are there any individuals who wish to speak in debate at this time? Seeing none, we'll now move into the voting period for this item. The voting period is now open. Okay, with 28 yes, 0 no, 0 abstention, this legislation passes. Before we move into Section 13 adjournment, I would once again like to remind everyone about the final roll call. So when we do our final roll call, you may click any button. But before we move into that, I want to once again thank our nominees that came in for our senator appointment process. I want to give them another round of applause and congratulate them on being appointed as senators. After I adjourn, I ask that both Grace and Ella please come up to the front, and then I also ask that Senator Miller also come to the front as well. But with that, we will now move into closing roll call. Please click any button on your clicker. All right, thank you, everyone. I didn't adjourn yet, so hold off one moment. Please do not take your clickers with you. Leave them on the table. But with that, we'll move into Section 13 adjournment. The Student Government Association Student Senate will stay on adjournment until Wednesday, December 3rd at 7:30 p.m. I adjourn this meeting at 8:28 p.m.